person here who's happened, and you can see actually where did you run, and it will actually show the path that you travel. And this was one of the most challenging things that I had to do, to actually animate the path traveled and explore. And this is the part that I actually worked on. This is my project that I had the most fun working on, and I have so many plans for this project. Welcome back to Holistic Developer Channel. I'm Anna, and in this video, I want to share with you what did I do in those 24 weeks that I attended a Coding Bootcamp. This video is a result of you requesting me to share with you what did I learn in those 24 weeks of the bootcamp, and what were the projects that I actually worked during that time. And that's what we're doing today. So let's dive in.
So let's start with the part where what did I learn during the bootcamp and what was the experience. And if you're looking for a more thorough walkthrough, what is the curriculum for the bootcamp that I was attending week by week, I created a video, so you will find it somewhere. I'll probably link it here, and that video walks you step by step, like week by week, what did I learn. But to give you a general idea, it was that we started with an introduction to JavaScript. We solved a few algorithms. We were introduced to data structures. Then we moved on to learning Express. After we learned Express, we had a group project, and then we moved on to learning React. As a result of learning React, the next project was, and that project was a solo project, and in that case I created a Skylog, so I'll show it in just a moment. Next, it was, if I recall correctly, it was the introduction to Python. So we started to learn Python. We did 1 week of Python. We did Flask, and then it was another group project, if I recall it correctly. So we did a group project, and it was our choice. What do we want to do for the front end and the back end? And finally, we did Docker, microservices, and things related to that for a few weeks. And then we had the time for our final capsule project. So that was kind of a general idea. And if you're curious what a day in the life of a bootcamp looked like, I also posted a video about that. So you will find it linked, or you can get to it in the description below. Will probably be the link for the video, and also you can see it in the cards here. Okay, let's get to the part of the projects. Before we dive into it, just to want to clarify that these are products in a stage where it's a minimal viable product. They're not fully fledged applications or anything like that. And I'm constantly working on them. I'm working on fixing the bugs, improving the user experience, and actually implementing new features. So let's dive in. I will be switching to my laptop here to kind of showcase you the projects.
Okay, so this is my portfolio page. It's a simple portfolio page. It's not something fancy. It's something that I actually hosting on GitHub, and it's just a simple place where people can dive in and see my projects, and has a little bit of me, how to get in touch with me, stuff like that. The projects that I worked on, they are 4. 2 were group projects and 2 were solo projects. The Skylog was one of the solo projects that I worked on, and I used their, it was, I think, Express, front end and back end. Currents, it was a group project. No, sorry, Currents is my capstone project. And it was React front end and Flask back end. Campy, it was a group project, and it was a front end, it was React, back end was Flask, and I primarily focused on the back end and a little bit on front end. On the front end, I did Google Maps. And Maximum was the very first project, group projects, and we worked on that. I think it was, everything was Express and Node.js. So that being said, let's look at my portfolio. Here it's a little bit about myself, nothing much, nothing fancy. And then we dive into the very first project here. It's my Currents project, and to give you a gist of what is the project about, the project is actually, something that I wanted to do, something that I can do cross platforms. I'm interested to have an activity app that I can start from my watch, from my phone, and see information also from the browser. I'm not saying that there is nothing on the market like that. It was just something that I was curious to do that will be cross platforms. And so far, I had opportunity to work on the browser side. I didn't get into the application implementation for the mobile or the watch itself. And basically, high level, it's an activity track to track your walks, runs, bike rides, whatever it is. And it's integrated with Google Maps API, elevation, and also authorizations for Google. So here's a link to the application. It's just a simple hello. You can click anywhere, and that will go to I'm logged in. So if I were not to be logged in, here's the sign in page. We got this person here who is running across the screen. So let's sign in. So I'm signing in as a user. And the first thing that you see is a page where you can start running. Obviously, I'm on the browser and I am not going to actually be able to show you how the GPS actually keeps track of where you are. But trust me, it does. And once it has that, you can stop it and you record, you name something fun run. You'll say, oh, that was kind of hard to run today. And I'm saving it and I'm off to enjoy my day. It's simple. There are a lot of things that I want to improve. I want to be able to change. Okay, I want to go for 25 minutes walk, or I want to go for a 5-minute 5-mile run or something like that. I want to be able to customize it. That is not implemented yet. Okay, then moving on is the activities. Here you will see all the activities that happened. It shows you the total of all these distances that you did, how many runs, what is the average distance, what is the time. Also, you can pick a location or an activity that happened, and you can see actually where did you run, and it will actually show the path that you travel. And this was one of the most challenging things that I had to do, to actually animate the path traveled. And maybe for somebody that's super simple, for me, it took a while to get that sorted out. Next, I want to implement challenges, account, and so on. I don't have anything for challenges. So as you can see, this is an MVP. It has a lot of potential, a lot of things to be added, fixed, and improved. But at this stage, that is what I have. Next project is the one that I worked on, a group project. And it was a group of 4 people, and we kind of divided front end and back end. As I mentioned, practically all the time I spent on the back end, and I worked on creating the API using Flask REST X, which I really loved that. And on the front end, what did I do? I actually focused on the Google Maps API, actually searching autocomplete functionality and all that stuff. I will show you just in a moment. And as you can see, any of the projects, it also has a link to the GitHub repository, so you can, the person who is interested can dive into that and see it. So here we are going into the Campy. Basically, what is a Campy? It's kind of a spin on the Airbnb, only for campers. So let's say you want to explore the Pacific Northwest, or you want to explore Yellowstone Park or any other parks, and you were on a motorcycle or so on, and you want to find a place where you can camp safely, put your tent somewhere and sleep for the night and stuff like that, or pull off your RV somewhere and spend the night. So this is kind of a spin on that. And what you can do here, obviously I am logged in, but it's the same thing. You log in and you get to a page where you explore. And this is the part that I actually worked on, of a place, and allows you to click on and navigate to that page. And something that took me a long time to get to work, it was to click something on the map and actually have this component to scroll to the actual location in the list. And that was not easy. It took me a while to sort that out. That's kind of embarrassing, to be honest. But let's say I also worked on autocomplete, and let's say I want to go to Toronto, and you do Toronto, and off it goes. And you can go directly to a location. This is not something that I worked on. Primarily, my work here probably is just the APIs from the backend, but this was done by the other team members who worked on adding the carousel for images here, adding a calendar, allowing you to actually select a time, say, oh, I want to schedule it during that time. Is it available or not? You get a notification and you get information about the location in particular. And down in the reviews, you can see there are reviews and the names. You notice they are names of famous people. And that was the desire of one of the team members. Again, this is not complete. If we were to look at, let's say, if we were to look at my account, it will show you the information and also everything, like all the places that you're hosting. And as you can see, the styling, it doesn't match across the application. So that is something that we need to continue working and improving. And we want to be able to show the places that you scheduled and so on. So again, there's a lot of stuff that can be done here. Okay, so that was the project there. Again, that was front end was React and back end was Flask. Let's move on. Okay, this is my project that I had the most fun working on, and I have so many plans for this project. I want to spend time in improving it, adding new functionality, and seeing how my husband uses it, because it's a project that actually created for him. And the reason I decided to create this project is that skydivers have logbooks. So every single time they jump, they use this logbook to record jump 975 or something like that, give it a name, give it the altitude, the system that was used, notes, signature, and so on. And you can imagine that as you use that logbook over and over and over again, it gets used and it runs out of pages. You need to buy a new one and so on. And another downside of that, you actually don't see any statistics or more useful information. You just see what you recorded. You don't know what is the average time, or you don't know many other things that you have to calculate yourself. So calculate by yourself. So I decided to create this app that will allow you to log all your adventures, skydiving adventures, and also being able to see statistics. So let's dive into this. Here, I'm logged in immediately. Obviously, I'm not showing you how to log in. It's implemented there, but this is the dashboard. And basically, it shows you how many jumps did you had for that month. It shows you how many jumps did you had for that year, the total jumps in that month. Obviously, no jumps in October yet, not so far. Total free fall time, basically that's for the all 50 jumps. So, and also it shows you the changes that you had in comparison with the previous month. And since this month nothing happened, so there's 0 changes. So it's a down. Free fall miles, it's basically a rounded, those 50 jumps rounded to about 20 miles, and no changes since last month. This person, this demo user, apparently jumped in 5 drop zones and jumped from the same aircraft. Here I decided to create levels. So it's basically this person needs 450 more jumps to get to this level. They are not standard skydiving levels. It's just something that I came up with. Here you see from all the types of skydiving you can do, how many percentage-wise each type was done by this person. And here's the average speed that that person had for all his jumps. Here you see all the jumps. You can view all of them, or just look at the only 5. and you can see notes for the specific jump. You can add notes, signature, and so on. And when the person is ready, they can log the jump. You can specify, oh, I exited the aircraft at this altitude and I opened my parachute at this altitude and the wind was this and the jump type was a 16 way freestyle, and this is the time when I jumped, and you save it and that information is recorded and so on. So apparently, this is just an MVP, as I stated, and it has a lot of potential. I'm not done with it. I need to add new things. Like one simple thing that I need definitely to add is that equipment here. I cannot add this record unless this user has equipment, and there's no way for the user to actually add in equipment. So I need to, the way that I was testing this, it was just in the database record creating an equipment, and then I was able to test it. But apparently, I need to create a way for the user to enter equipments and so on. I also want to implement notification. Nothing is implemented yet. The reason is that you have systems or equipment that need to be serviced on the specific interval of times. So I'm planning to implement a notification showing, oh, your next equipment service is at that time, or it's coming up in 2 weeks or something like that. And many, many other things that I want to do here. And hopefully I'll get a chance to do that. Okay, so that project was something that I am really passionate about, and I want to continue working on that. And the UI, I used a lot of React hooks, and I used Material UI. I really, really enjoyed Material UI. It was so simple to style everything. I don't have that vision of coloring stuff or placing something somewhere here, something here. It's a skill that you get better at it as you do it. And I haven't done much of it. So I really appreciated having Material UI and guiding me into choosing better components and better UI. Okay. And finally, we are at the maximum project, and it was a group project, and this project was, okay, I need water. Okay, so getting back to maximum. This is a group project, and it was the very first project that we've done in the bootcamp, and it was a project of 3 people, and we used Node.js and Express and SQLize to create the entire application. And the CSS or the styling, it was pure CSS. We didn't use any frameworks to handle the styling of the UI. And again, I focused solely, primarily on the back end and a little bit on the front end where I was making the connections between the fetch requests from the front to the back end of the application. And what is the premise of the application? It is a clone of the famous and well-known application Medium. So let's look at it. As a very first project, it looks really good. It's a little bit slow, but that's probably because Heroku had the application sleeping. So here at the top, we get stories once you logged in. Kind of the top 2 are the most relevant stories of the day. Then as you scroll, you see other stories. The images were stored locally and randomly assigned to any story. If you're interested in a particular story, you can click it. It redirects you to the page. You can follow, unfollow that user or author. You can read the story. You can clap, unclap, or you can do comments. You say, wow, I really like this. And you submit the comment and you see it there. And the next thing is here that you see the profile. You can create a new story, a new article, and post it for everybody to enjoy it and read it. And you can update your profile and stuff like that. So as you can see, pretty simple, pretty straightforward, nothing fancy, nothing out of ordinary.
Okay, so hopefully this video answers the question that you had in your mind about what was my experience with the bootcamp, and also what are the projects that I actually worked on. And again, if you want to see more in details the curriculum that I've done week by week, I have a video that I posted on this channel. And if you're curious to see what is kind of a day in the life of a bootcamp student online, there's also a video like that on my channel, and every day is different, so keep that in mind. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, it was entertaining, or something like you got inspired to create your own project a certain way, or you got an idea, that's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Make sure that you like this video and you subscribe so you can see the notifications when the next videos are posted. As always, I hope you're having an amazing time, and see you next time. Bye bye.